Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Live Now, where Filippo and I are going to be talking about sports cars this week. We're doing another episode where I pick two sports cars, you pick two sports cars, and we're picking the best sports cars currently live on Cars and Bids.
Before we get started, we know that selling an enthusiast car can be difficult and a frustrating task. Classified sites lead to wasted time with tire kickers, with scammers, the dreaded lowballers. So come sell your enthusiast car here on Cars and Bids. You can submit your car in just a few minutes, and you'll be supported throughout the process by a dedicated auction manager. We'll help you get amazing photos, we'll write your listing, and Kennan and I might even be talking about it right here.
That's right. And today, like I said, we're going to be talking about sports cars.
Fight.
Now, yes, we're going to start with your sports cars because there's some really good stuff currently live on the site.
Great stuff.
But we're going to start off with this, the most new car. So this is a Porsche 992.1 Carrera T, which is very tasteful. This one happens to be pink.
It's Ruby Star Neo. Thank you very much.
But this is a pretty tasteful choice on your part. I'm surprised that you picked this, to be honest, because this is a very expensive car.
I will say we do have a C7 Corvette live right now.
I'm
strongly considered. Strongly considered. But
so
this
make
is
your case for this.
Also obviously like the quintessential sports car. You want the best new sports car, it's a 911, frankly. And you want the best version of that that's like dedicated to sport in your daily life. It's a Carrera T. 7-speed manual, plenty powerful, 379 horsepower, 331 pound-feet of torque. This is an incredible spec. I mean, it's Ruby Star Neo over black with I think Ruby Star Neo plaid inserts.
Yeah, those are
it's
so
quite
cool. Those
something.
sport seats are
It's
awesome.
so cool. And the Carrera T takes some of the stuff from the Carrera S, like a mechanical limited slip diff, the lowered pads and sports suspension, sport exhaust, a bunch of nice things that will help your actual performance driving without giving you too much power, without making it too harsh.
Right.
And I truly believe that a real sports car should be one that you can bring out and actually enjoy the full power of, and actually put the pedal to the metal. You can actually floor it. You can actually enjoy it. And the more you go up the 911 chain, the less you can actually do that. At base 911, plenty fast. To be clear, you shouldn't be flooring it regularly, probably, to be safe in a normal daily life. But you can. Rules. You can sometimes. And that makes it a very special sports car.
You know, to be honest with you, I don't have much to argue with. The 911 in general, you can't argue with. The Carrera T has become very much the enthusiast choice when it comes to the 911 range. Everybody wants a GT3, like you said.
Sure.
But
I don't. I want a T.
Well, yeah, that's true. Other car enthusiasts performance car enthusiasts really want them. But generally, you can't get them. They're not available. They're crazy expensive. These cars are still very expensive, Carrera T, but it gives everything the enthusiast does want. And I have to be honest with you, I don't have anything to argue with you about. That's a very excellent, that's an excellent choice.
It's just such a cool car. Also, the spec is, I'm not a spec guy, and I don't know that I could rock a pink one, but I would want to be that guy, and so I'd do it.
Love to see you get out of that with that tan jacket you're wearing.
Cool.
Out of that.
Look at the seats.
The seats are incredible. That might be one of my favorite parts of the entire car.
Look at the seats. This is just so special.
And a Porsche manual transmission is lovely. And the Dot 2 Carrera T is excellent as well, but this one being on the site is nice. So I'm excited to see. Whoever ends up with this car is going to end up with a cool
It's going to be so happy.
Now, we both picked one American sports car and one European sports car. And so I'm going to show you my European sports car, which is very different to yours. I chose a 2005 Lotus Elise. Now, this one is not something I normally would pick because it is heavily modified. When I say heavily,
it is.
The scroll through the mods list is extensive.
Yep.
However, I have always felt that the Elise is one of those cars that actually kind of gets away with it. It should be a modified car. These cars, it should be.
Yeah.
One of the great things about the Elise is that it's small and very lightweight. And so you can do a lot with it to dial it in for your specific purposes. And this person has, so much so that they've actually removed the passenger seat. So this is a solo seat. Emily can't come with me. It's just me driving around in my Elise.
As it should be.
But this thing it's much more substantial.
The mods are great.
So it's got a Garrett turbocharger, which is awesome. It's got a built engine because it's got Cosworth pistons with a 10-to-1 compression ratio. Yep. It's got just tons of stuff. Exhaust. It's got upgrades to the brakes. It's got it's just lots of stuff. Öhlins two-way adjustable shocks, which I love. Some Öhlins dampers.
The
This
wheels
is
are
meant-
incredibly light. Like they like actually went the distance.
They
to
went
make
the
this
and it
what you
looks.
want it to be.
My problem with modifications has to deal with cars that are modified poorly, that make the car worse.
Yep.
I truly don't think that any of these things make it worse. I've driven an Elise, an 05, I think it was an 05 Elise, that was very stock, and admittedly, it's like you do want a little more power. So for it to be turbocharged is great, and that engine can take it. It's strong and it's built as well. But this one, I love the color of it. I do like the mods.
Yep.
And truly, I think that from a European sports car to get the purity of driving like this, the Elise is the essence of driving a sports car. It is everything. It is all about the driving and nothing else. It's just that. Look at that interior. There's nothing in that. There's nothing.
It
in
is
that
about
interior.
driving. Can you go back 2 photos?
Yes.
All right, one more. Oh, go whichever exterior photo you're on.
Oh.
There you go.
Pick one.
Oh my God. Yeah, go one more. There you go. Do you think that the Elise dude and the dude with the very heavily modified WRX that lives next to him are friends?
They have to be. Right?
They have to be.
I guarantee the WRX guy has
They're like driving
said
around.
something.
They're-
or at least they drive
go
by.
on
They go.
drives.
They do the car guy thing where they go.
Yep.
Just the nod.
And I would respect this car too.
Yes, I think this car, like, again, when I think about what I want out of a sports car, admittedly for me, I would like a little bit more luxury generally.
They added a taller 6th gear for quieter engine cruising. The highway.
Right.
There's taller.
Right, exactly. Just bare aluminum floors, but they really wanted to quiet down that engine.
Yeah.
But I think that the Elise is one of the all-time greats. And to your point about reliability and practical, it's not practical, but it is at least reliable, and they can handle these mods. And I think this is really nicely executed.
Yeah.
So this one stands out, at least in my mind, of the recent Elises that we've offered.
It's very cool. Go to your next one though.
Okay. Yeah,
You're like in heavily modified lane.
Oh, but my next car is one of my all-time favorites. This is the new Edge Ford Mustang SVT Cobra R. I have always, and I'm from Ohio.
Yep.
I have always loved the Cobra R.
You don't need to tell you're from Ohio, Kennan.
Yes. Well, I need to remind some people, but I do love a Cobra R. When I growing up, this was the Mustang of our generation, admittedly. When the Cobra R, but when the SN95 came out, it was kind of a half-hearted attempt. And obviously then Ford responded with the Terminator, and they responded with a lot of very important cars. This was one of them. And when we talk about how hardcore sports cars, it's unbelievable that Ford made this, in my opinion. It was so stripped out, very limited production. They only built 300 of these.
Yep.
Manual transmission, V8 motor. It was great. But this one also, actually, just like the Elise, has some modifications because it has 813 horsepower.
Whoa, I didn't read that. Okay.
Yes, this is a big boy.
Well, when running on Golf Mach 116 gasoline.
Right. Well, that's the thing with all
You
these
need the
horsepower
gasoline
claims when you
to
do
produce the
mods.
power.
But when it came
Has a
out,
sequential manual?
yes.
Wow.
So I mean, this is like going. You're talking about going the distance.
This is going the distance.
Yes, exactly.
Wow.
So originally the car had 385 horsepower and 385 foot-pounds of torque. Now this car has quite a bit more. There's always some technicality when you do modifications to a car, but this one is wild. Granted, I would prefer it with a 6-speed manual, and I think stock was plenty, but this thing, what I like about it is that it still looks stock. This still looks like a Cobra R, which again is one of the poster car icons from the Midwesterners who grew up during that period of time.
Yep.
I appreciate how rare they are. I appreciate that this person went truly the distance with the modification.
They only drove it 4,300 miles, but they went the distance.
It's hard to drive a car with that more miles than that. But look at it. This car again is just all about. This car is all about speed, and with these modifications, it really is all about speed. For me, what defines a sports car is that it has to be a visceral driving experience. That's really just about that. Driving.
Yep.
And the Lotus and this, to me, they're very different. Admittedly, that's a lot of power, and you're really just going to do burnouts in this thing. But they are both about driving, and so that to me is what stood out about this.
If you want to be murdered by your car, go to my second car.
Oh,
because that Mustang may kill you, but so will this Viper.
Oh,
here's
Gen 1.
a true sports car. Every version of the Viper is a legitimate true sports car. Every version, the new age Mustang wasn't. That was
true.
That's the coolest one. But
fair.
every Viper was. And here's a great one. This is a first gen Viper.
Later first gen in 95.
Yeah.
94 and 95 were the only 2 years where they got air conditioning.
They got some comforts like air conditioning.
Right.
And I think that still the removable side curtain window situations.
God, look at that.
This is just a pure stripped down sports car. What do you do to make a sports car? Take a chassis, add some gigantic wheels, put a V10 under the
big motor.
incredibly long hood, and a 6-speed manual, and then you drive it. And then it tries to murder you. And that's the fun of it.
That is the fun of it.
This is a really nice one, 30,000 miles. Has some modifications, but they're really cosmetic more than anything else. They painted the upper dash, which actually looks really nice. They did some other modifications of that sort that I think work well. And the Viper is such a special, cool car. The first gen Viper is such a pure sports car.
I totally agree.
And there's something I want to be clear. The Elise could out-corner this car every day of the year forever. I don't have a good way to say that. But this is also a true experience. It's not necessarily the best sports car known to man, but it's the truest, most real experience.
Yes, I love the first gen Viper. It's no secret. I still very much want one, and I will have one at some stage.
An emerald green, no less.
I want a red one, but yes, they get a lot of flack for being very difficult, scary cars to drive, and they are. When you push them to the limit, they can
like
bite,
that Mustang
right?
aim bite you.
But the thing about the Viper is, it's like it is just simple. It is so simple, and it is so much fun, and it's. Compared to the other three, this is the icon. Like is a legitimate icon for performance cars.
Well, the Cobra R is too. We'll give it some
Cobra R is, but that's more of an if you know car. The Viper, you don't have to know anything.
Nope.
Normal people who know nothing about cars look at that generally know it's a Viper.
Yep. So you want to have the best sports car that is an incredibly good technical sports car and a car you can drive every day. You get a nice, and you want to show off a little bit, you get a nice Ruby Star Neo 992 Carrera T. You want the raw sports car American muscle experience, because it's in many ways a muscle car. You get the Viper, bam, two perfect options for your sports cars, live on Cars and Bids.
I think I've chosen balance and precision, which is what you can achieve driving a Lotus, and a goddamn sledgehammer with
and which car do you want to drive when you don't want to die?
Well, I mean, you walk. That's how you guarantee it.
Those are, in many ways, true sports cars.
Now, Filippo, all four of these, I have to give you credit. I really like the things you picked, to be honest with you. But we want to know what you think. So if you head to the description, we have a link to the Cars and Bids community page where we have put up a poll where you can vote and tell us who chose the better sports cars this week. Was it Filippo with his 911 Carrera T and his Dodge Viper? Hell yeah. Or was it me with my 05 Lotus Elise and my Mustang Cobra?
Or if you say that you should just get the C7 Corvette twice, that's equal.
That's an equal.
Support that.
In your mind. Well, thank you, Filippo, for your choices. And thank you so much for watching. We will talk to you in the next episode. Goodbye.